Ben's in the chat. Here we go, Benny. What's up? What's up? What's up? He says, here we go. Steelers are going to go to the Super Bowl. Steelers are going to go to the Super Bowl, says Benny. And Benny, let's talk about your Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk about those mighty Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers had a great win last night. Let's just be honest. You can look at the scoreboard and you can say, oh, they barely beat a bad Giants team. Stop looking at the box score, Rob. Stop looking at the scoreboard. Whoever else is saying, oh, they barely beat the Giants. The Steelers dominated the Giants from point A to point B last night. If it wasn't for some technical rules or whatever it was with the whole double foot touchdown crap thing for Pickens, which lost me my fantasy game, by the way, but I digress. This would have been a complete blowout, right? If they wouldn't have dropped another touchdown earlier in the first quarter, if this would have been a complete blowout. The Giants got dominated by the Pittsburgh Steelers last night. And it is time to start putting some respect on the Pittsburgh Steelers name. It is time to start understanding that the Pittsburgh Steelers are true contenders in the AFC. When we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, I got to ask you this question. Who can beat them right now? When you look at the AFC, who can beat them? Can we start talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers as being true contenders in the AFC? Not just to win the division, not just to win the playoffs, but make it to the Super Bowl. When we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, they've been running the ball very, very well. That has been one of the strengths for the Pittsburgh Steelers for many, many years, is running the ball. Najee Harris, my man, single-handedly carrying my fantasy team, has 3 straight games of 100-plus yards on the ground. Najee Harris, where have you been my whole life? The last 3 games, he is balling. He also is starting to break 10-yard runs at will. It can be 2nd and 3, and Najee Harris is like, you know what, coach? Give me the ball. I'm going to run 15 yards just because I can. That is what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing right now. And their defense. We talked about how bad the Ravens defense has been. Let's talk about how good the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been. TJ Watt and Highsmith might be the best 1-2 punch front 4 duo in the NFL. Let me repeat that for you for the people in the back. TJ Watt and Highsmith might be the 1-2 defensive front 4 punch in the NFL. They literally changed the game last night with those back-to-back sacks on Daniel Jones. Highsmith with an incredible spin move. My God, that reminded me of Dwight Freeney back in the day, right? Totally embarrassed that left tackle. Said, get out of here, boy. Daniel Jones escapes. Boom, TJ Watt kicks in the door, says, nope, this is my sack. Very next play, Highsmith's like, you know what, TJ? You had your fun. Let me go get my fun, and got another sack. That made it like 3rd and 33 or whatever it was. Single-handedly changed that whole drive. Single-handedly changed that whole quarter. Single-handedly changed the whole dynamic of that game. The Giants thought they had a chance there for like a little bit, then boom, back-to-back sacks, game over. That is how you win championships. That is how you go to the Super Bowl. That is how you beat teams like the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. Guys, it is start to put some respect on their name, and it start to talking about them as contenders in the AFC. Now, I understand the AFC is pretty loaded. Let me rephrase that. The AFC is pretty top loaded. And there are some teams that are playing some really good football right now. Baltimore Ravens, as much as we dog them, they're playing really good football still. Kansas City Chiefs playing decent football. Not great football, but decent. A team you really don't want to play in the playoffs. Let's just be honest. Buffalo Bills will continue to get better and better and better again. Houston Texans, we'll be talking about them coming up here in about an hour. They are a team that you don't want to mess with either. So when we look at the AFC, guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers clearly are contenders. I clearly think they have the potential to make it to the Super Bowl. But let me ask you guys this question. Can they? Can they legitimately beat a team like the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs? Can they legitimately beat a team like the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs? We're not talking about regular season. We're talking about playoffs. Can they beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs? The Houston Texans. When we go down the order, I think they can beat the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Where's Kevin when you need him? Ride those Buffalo Bills, Kevin, because they're not going to get past the Pittsburgh Steelers if they play in the playoffs. Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh Steelers are probably going to beat you in the playoffs as well. We all know Lamar Jackson shits the bed in the playoffs. 2 playoff wins is nothing to write home about. Russell Wilson's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Then we look at the Houston Texans. To be determined. Kansas City Chiefs? Potentially. I think Christmas Day, Christmas night, we are going to see the true meaning of a playoff game in December. Sorry, Raiders fans, that was your Super Bowl last year. This year, it's a true Super Bowl. Steelers versus Chiefs on Christmas Day. This could be for all of the marbles. So, guys, in the comments below, beat up the comments. Beat them up, beat them up, beat them up. Are we ready to consider the Pittsburgh Steelers contenders in the AFC? When we say contenders, I'm talking about Super Bowl contenders. They're already contenders. They're fairly square left side of the market board as contenders. But are they Super Bowl contenders? Are they Super Bowl contenders? You guys really got a lot of comments in here, so let me scroll back up and let's see what you guys are saying, right? Talking about Andy Reid still, bada bing, bada boom. There's some Ravens fans. Plain Sharks, first time I've seen you in here. What's up, man? He says, it's time to fire the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniels. Baltimore Ravens suck. 2, they lost to Cleveland. Let's talk about Mike McDaniels coming up. I'm talking about the Broncos. Tell me that's not perfect. Oh, where are you guys? There we go. Mark D. John says, first thing, not yet. We cannot put the Pittsburgh Steelers as contenders yet. But they're getting better. They're getting better. They're improving. They're starting to be a cohesive group, right? So, John, let me ask you this question. You in particular, or anybody else can answer if you guys agree with John here. What do you need to see from the Pittsburgh Steelers to finally become believers in them? What do you need to see from the Pittsburgh Steelers that you can say, yes, they are finally Super Bowl contenders? I have faith that they can make the Super Bowl. What do you need to see? What I would like to see is them go out and just dominate a game from start to finish on offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, and special teams. Yes, they are doing good things right now. Yes, they are doing a lot of good things on special teams and defense, but the offense is improving. But I want to see the offense catch up to the defense, and then I would be 100% sold. Like, yes, they can beat the Chiefs. Yes, they can beat the Houston Texans, right? But what do you guys think? Mark D says Pittsburgh will be one and done in the playoffs. Not so fast, my man. Not so fast, baby. Because when we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's say they win the AFC North. Let's say they win with like a 12, 13 game season. It'd probably be more like 11, but let's just say in theory it is 11 or 12, right? Let's just say they are the second seed. At that particular point, if you are the second seed, you'll be playing the 7th seed in the AFC. When we look at the AFC, potentially could be the Denver Broncos. Potentially could be the LA Chargers. Potentially could be a team like the Indianapolis Colts. Let's think of some other AFC teams that could possibly sneak into the playoffs. Could it be, I don't know, shoot. Could it be a team like the Cincinnati Bengals? I'm just kind of throwing spaghetti at a wall. Hopefully something sticks. The Pittsburgh Steelers are better than all of those teams. They're better than the Broncos. They're better than the Chargers. They're better than the Bengals. They're better than the Colts. As a second seed, they will be very, very hard to beat. They're not going to be one and done. Plain Shark says the Chiefs can beat them. And Plain Sharks, I think you are right. As of right now, if we were going to the playoffs, of course, I'm not betting against my Kansas City Chiefs. You never bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. What, he has lost in the playoffs, what, once? Yes, he lost in the Super Bowl, but so he has 2 playoff losses ever in his career, right? One of which was in the AFC Championship versus Tom Brady when D Ford lined up 4 yards offsides. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Come on, man. Come on, D Ford. But yes, I concur. I think the Chiefs can beat them, and probably the Chiefs would beat them, right? John People says also Houston can beat the Buffalo. So Houston can beat the Steelers, and then Buffalo Bills can also beat the Steelers in the playoffs. Okay. Interesting. WBN says they have the best overall team, in my opinion, even down to their special teams. And to be honest, the special teams for the Steelers right now is killing it, right? They have like 3 or 4 blocked field goals / PATs this season. That punt return was absolutely tremendous, game-changing, right, on the scoreboard last night. Offense, great running game. Quarterback play just doesn't have to suck. I mean, they do have a very solid team. The only weak part about the Pittsburgh Steelers is the quarterback play. Yes, Russell Wilson is playing lights out right now. Yes, Russell Wilson is playing at a very high level these last 2 games. But Mark D, being a Broncos fan, you know this. At some point in the season, Russell Wilson is going to have one of those games where he simply falls flat on his face. Russell Wilson is going to be a game where he goes off script and everybody's mad at him and we don't know what to do with their hands. If he can avoid that by going off script and everybody being mad at him and then it starts to snowball effect and everybody sucks, they'll be just fine. But I think you're right. And James says they will get their winning record and start losing. They do got a pretty tough schedule, right? They do play the Ravens twice, the Browns twice, and the Bengals twice, plus the Chiefs and I think the Buffalo Bills as well. Like they do got a pretty tough schedule moving forward, 100%. That Najee Harris hurdle was crazy last night, dude. Exactly, it was crazy. And then the quarterback got benched. Like what is going on, right? Oh, Ant says him and Warren are a good deal. Rush just got to continue to play good, and Pickens is a hell of a receiver. Still hurts that my Ravens didn't draft him, but instead we drafted a damn pass rusher who got injured on his pro day. James says, hear me out, right? Every time I hear the word hear me out, I think of that girl's like, hear me out, right? Hear me out. Steelers in the Super Bowl. It's a game-winning drive by the Steelers down by 5. Steelers go on the 2-yard line, 4th and 1. Russell Wilson drops back to pass and ball is intercepted. Russ, don't ever hand it off to the big body receiver. Too soon, James. Too soon. John says he wants to see more unity and more consistency from the Steelers. Benny Tigman says the Steelers are made for December and playoff football. They are. Defense travels, right? Their offense travels, run the ball. Quarterback doesn't suck. They're definitely made for playoff football. And Plain Shark says better offense, but the problem is they still can't rely everything on Russ. They also need Justin Fields' help. I think Justin Fields is just fine on the bench. Plain Sharks. I think Justin Fields is find himself a little home on the bench. I think